In this video, I will be comparing Starfield with Star Wars Outlaws. These two open world games are similar, but also have some differences. From ground to space takeoffs, and various planets, there is a lot to discuss. Before we do get into today's video though, make sure you do subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future Starfield or Star Wars Outlaws videos. So Star Wars fans have been longing for a true open world Star Wars game for quite some time, and Outlaws is set to deliver that fantasy. However, Starfield is honestly a great Star Wars game without being set within Star Wars. I'm making this video because some people don't know Outlaws is even an open world Star Wars game, whilst others think both of these games just can't coexist. One of them has to be far superior than the other. It is clear Star Wars inspired parts of Starfield. I mean, Empire Strikes Back is one of the favourite films of its game director, Todd Howard. There are also some Star Wars Easter eggs, which I covered in a previous video. Many players have created tons of Star Wars ships within Starfield's impressive shipbuilder. To many Star Wars fans, the ability to create your very own ship like this is a dream come true in a game. Starfield is also a great canvas for modding, specifically Star Wars mods. There are more Star Wars mods for Starfield than almost anything else. From characters, weapons, UI, sound effects and more, in just a few weeks since launch, you can turn Starfield into a Star Wars game. This is even before Bethesda has released full console and PC modding support. It does remain to be seen how moddable Star Wars Outlaws will be. Massive's previous games, The Division 1 and 2, effectively have no mods. That's a mixture of both the engine and the fact that it's always online. Star Wars Outlaws is not a multiplayer game, it's a strictly single-player experience. We will get a better understanding if this will be possible potentially with the release of Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, their next game, which will be releasing in December, and it also runs on the Snowdrop engine, the same as The Division and Star Wars Outlaws. However, Star Wars Outlaws does have some confirmed things up its sleeve. Let's continue talking differences between these two games. Starfield is a fully fledged RPG where you choose your own path in the story. You pick what to say, and your decisions will affect what happens. Outlaws will feature some of these RPG elements, but only lightly. You'll be able to pick your own path to an extent, but every player will get the same main story beats. You are able to pick and choose which factions you want to work with or go against, so how you go about your business with the Empire and the Hutt Cartel will be different to what someone else will do. At the end of the day though, the main story will be the same as everyone else's. It's a canon story after all. Meanwhile, not everyone who plays Starfield will get all of the same story beats. Starfield is also a game that you could easily put in 100 or even a few hundred hours into it, because there is just so much to do. From the side quest lines to the New Game Plus, it's a game that has a lot of content which you can sink time into. The developers have already come out and said that Outlaws is not like Ubisoft's more recent Assassin's Creed RPG style games that take hundreds of hours to fully complete. Starfield is a huge game in terms of scale as it features 1,000 different planets and moons. You are able to just pick a spot anywhere on a planet and just land to it. You can check out literally anywhere on the planet. However, there are just a few handcrafted locations, the rest is all procedurally generated. As much as I just love how many planets there are to explore and the main settlements, due to the sheer size of this game, the density is just not what we've come to expect from modern Star Wars games such as Jedi Survivor. Star Wars Outlaws has a different approach compared to Starfield. There are 0 procedural generated planets and all of them have been handcrafted. It will feature large maps, for example, the Washington DC map within the Division 2 is smaller than Tashara's playable area, which is like the main planets that you'll be able to play on in Star Wars Outlaws. But you're not going to be able to go around the entirety of each planet in Star Wars Outlaws, unlike Starfield. There will be great distances though. For example, they've said you'll be able to go from Mos Eisley to Jabba's palace. You'll be able to just walk it if you want, or use a land vehicle to traverse there. So there won't be 50 or 1,000 planets within Star Wars Outlaws, but that's okay. Each of the planets that will be in the game will be filled with far more stuff. We can see this right here. Starfield has just a lot less objects on screen compared to Outlaws. This is probably down to the creation engine and it's really good physics, but at the end of the day, it is lacking a lot less stuff compared to, say, Star Wars Outlaws. The Star Wars game also features a more photorealistic art style, which I think Star Wars fans will probably prefer. I like both of these approaches, and the fact that we will have both is great. For quantity and deeper RPG elements, you have Starfield. For richer worlds filled with more Star Wars stuff, you have Outlaws. The best of both worlds, or universes rather. Kobo in Jedi Survivor is a great example of how things have come in terms of quality and density, but Outlaws seems to be populating areas even more than that. Survivor doesn't have many NPCs, and those that are within, say, Rambler's reach don't react to what you do. Starfield, on the other hand, does have a lot of NPCs, but again, they just don't really react to what you do, like in other open world games, such as GTA 5. They lack reaction to events such as shooting your gun, and things like that. I hope Outlaws improves on this. One thing Outlaws will have in terms of NPCs compared to Starfield are aliens. Starfield lacks in this area, whereas Outlaws will be far more diverse. It does make far more sense within the story of both of them, but still, it's great to see that what we've seen from Outlaws so far in the open world is just really awesome. Another thing that's similar, but also different, is spaceflight. Starfield has a taking off animation, and then you'll get to be the pilots within your starship from space. Meanwhile, Outlaws will have a takeoff animation, but it's more seamless. You'll go into this in-atmosphere section, and then you'll be in space. Both games require time to calculate jumps from one star system to another, which is fun. I think ship combat appears to be similar, but not the same as well. We know that Outlaws will feature a targeting mechanic that's going to try and make it simple and easy for players, and it's somewhat similar to Starfield, but you don't need to power manage and things like that. There's no confirmation of a first-person perspective when you are piloting your ship in Outlaws, but given that the rest of the game is in third person, I'd not be surprised if there is no cockpit view. Starfield offers third and first-person perspective in all areas though. You're also able to walk around your ships within both Starfield and Star Wars Outlaws. In terms of customization, we don't really know how deep the cosmetic customization and performance will be for the Trailblazer K ship in Outlaws. We know there will be some customization, but it probably won't be to the same depth as Starfield. You will be able to upgrade your weaponry and customize K's clothes, both just for cosmetic reasons or gameplay reasons, but probably not to the same depth as Starfield. One thing that Star Wars Outlaws does have over Starfield in the vehicle department are ground vehicles. You'll be able to jump on a speeder bike and venture through the open world much quicker than running. Another major difference between these two games is who you will be playing as. Both of these games handle things differently, and they do it in a way that's best for that story. Starfield is a true RPG, and it allows you to customize your character to look like however you want. Meanwhile, Star Wars Outlaws has Kves, this brand new character that has been created for this game. She is just a regular person trying to survive between the Galactic Civil War. She is not on either side of the Rebellion or the Empire. She's just trying to live and survive. Given that this is a canon story set within the Star Wars universe, it makes way more sense having an actual preset character that has these photorealistic and fantastic cutscenes that have been mocapped and voice acted, unlike Starfield. According to reputable insider Tom Henderson, the fast travel in Star Wars Outlaws is set to be quite good. It will be interesting to see how this does work. There will be even more comparisons you'll be able to draw from both of these games when we do learn more about Star Wars Outlaws. But at the end of the day, they are fundamentally different in how they will play, even if they have similarities and are an open world game. I'm just disappointed that some people want to hate one of these games purely because they want the other game to be far better and they're not a fan of the other game. It doesn't make much sense to me. Both of these space games can coexist and you can enjoy both of them or you can dislike both of them. As a fan of Starfield, as a fan of Star Wars games and space games, it's great that within potentially 12 months of each other, we are getting both Starfield and Star Wars Outlaws, and they both scratch the itch of an open world space game that we have been longing so many years for. I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything I've talked about down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like, subscribe for more videos like this, and if you missed any of my previous videos, click on the playlist on screen right now, and I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.